Everybody, welcome back to the next episode of Mental Journal of a Human. Good Lord. Journal of a Human, not a mental health advocate. Actually, speaking on that, I just got off a phone call with a company based out of California that does online group work as in bereavement, grief, dealing with stress from marriage or mothers birthing and whatnot. And they pull people together in a group of 8 with a counselor, therapist, whatnot, online. And it puts them in a community where they can kind of learn things, grow, and not feel like they're alone. Hence, Never Alone also. And we interacted because they saw what we were doing with Never Alone. And we're looking for ways that how I could help them get in front of more eyes. And right off the bat, the girl I was talking to was like, you should be putting yourself out there as a mental health influencer. And I did not know what to think about that. I have a hard time with influencers. I feel like they're giving no value in the world, where in the mental health, you have to be giving value. And I believe I am, but I think it'd be a negative connotation to be leading myself as a mental health influencer. I try not to say advocate. I say speaker sometimes, and then I say founder of Never Alone. I'd love to know your thoughts on this. If mental health influencer would be a positive thing to be leading myself as, or something that would take away from because of the negative connotation you have with the name influencer. But I am influencing others to get mental health help. So that was what came up in my life this morning and growing Never Alone and trying to grow Never Alone. And that kind of does touch on the subject today of seeking out anxiety. And you're like, why would I want to seek out anxiety? I do everything I can possibly to help myself not have to deal with anxiety or stress or anything in my life anymore. I don't want any more of it in my life. But the thing is, with other parts of your life, working out, general body health, losing weight, whatnot, a lot of the saying is people say work on your weaknesses and like build your strengths. Now, isn't a weakness of ours that we can't get out of anxiety or depression, or we can't stop feeling stress, or we can't stop grieving? All these things, we are trying to get away from it and we don't want to touch it. However, have you ever tried to put yourself intentionally in that place and say, I'm going to step into some anxiety induced area, however it may be, hopping into a line where you don't like going, or into a crowded place, or doing something and being like, I'm going to put myself there and I know what I'm getting into and I know what it's going to feel like. But the thing is, I know when I can leave and I can take off and I can step out of this place whenever I want to. For me, that is seeking anxiety. That is seeking that place that we hate the most. I personally hate it also, but you're seeking it so you can get comfortable in that situation. So you can get comfortable so the next time it happens without you wanting it to happen or without you knowing it's going to show up, you're like, no, okay, I feel you. I know it's there. I see you. I feel this pain. But last week, I put myself into this place by myself. And I was able to get away from that. I was able to find my way and navigate out of it. That for me is seeking anxiety. And a lot of it has to do with your comfort bubble. Big word I use a lot online if you follow me, and it's comfort bubble. It's a safe place. It's a fun place because nothing can go wrong. My comfort bubble is my bedroom. Whatever location I am living in at the time, my comfort bubble is my bedroom. It is a place where I can go and sleep, which is the biggest comfort of all because I get away from everything. It is a place where I can work on my computer. I can watch TV. I can watch anything on my laptop. I can listen to music. I can read. And because of those things, I can hide from friends. I can hide from events that I have. And I can Essentially, feel safe to say no and not show up to things. Tina wrote to me, yes, I have. I have pushed myself to kick down the fear and anxiety. I'm accepting that I am charged. Tina, that is it. Now, my second question, Tina, would be if you're going to reply to this, how hard is it? And does it happen right away? Because for me, it's not easy to put myself into places where I have anxiety or I'm stepping out of my comfort bubble. To start off, for me, finding anxiety and whatnot was getting out of my room. That was literally it. When I was living downtown, I was in Gastown, this area in Vancouver. It's gorgeous. Had a really nice place, roommate. And my stress place was walking into restaurants at night for dinner with friends. No, I wasn't walking in with them. I was totally fine. I went in with them. My fear and anxiety was walking into the restaurant by myself. First off, not knowing if they were going to be there yet or showing up late because they're already there. It was the act of walking in, walking around, finding them and having to say hi to everybody, even though they're my friends. Probably some of them were people I knew of acquaintance with, but not really friendly with, and sit down and join the conversation. For some reason, that for me is a big mental health hurdle. It's something that's super uncomfortable for me, extremely uncomfortable. So much so that I would automatically show up late 10 to 15 minutes. I would also text the person when I'm leaving, have you guys left yet? And I would set some other kind of contraptions up that I would make sure that I don't arrive early. And it's still, I many times would walk to a corner block. I'd walk 20 minutes. I'd show up a block away and my anxiety would be high enough that I would turn around, walk home. And I don't even know if I would text them. I'm pretty sure that those around me have gotten so used to me not showing up to things that they just don't even think about it. Which also leads to me why I don't have a lot of close friends, because I didn't show up to a lot of things when they invited me out. And I get it from that aspect. I would stop inviting someone out, no matter how much I enjoyed their company, because of this. Like, yeah, you have to accept your friends' mental health struggles and anxiety and whatnot. But there probably does come to a point where it's like, hey, you're cool, but there's no point in me texting you to do this. I know the story and it's not up for me to deal with. I'm there to talk to you, but it's for you to fix. And if you're not going to fix it, then why am I wasting my time doing all this? So I get that other side. However, it was a big thing for me. So the first time where I started pushing my bubble was going out and deciding to go have a beer by myself at random bars around town that I don't frequent often. And how that came to play was after traveling. I found in my own way that traveling was my biggest fear, as in the last 7 days leading up to it, and the day of it, and hopping onto that plane. However, once I was buckled in and the plane lifted off the ground, my anxiety and fear all went away of everything that essentially I had in my world dealing with these things. It's like my bubble was in the place that I knew the most, and I knew the most people, and they knew my struggles. When I was able to fly somewhere and be somewhere new and no one knew who I was, those anxiety, those fears could also go away, and I could kind of reinvent myself. Tina, it's taking me years, but I'm still working the progress. I commit to events when I don't always see through. I love it, Tina. That is what you have to do. What she said is that she also does push her fears, and it's taken years to do it. Same with me. It's taken years. I still have things like that. But the thing is, if you don't know, you don't try, you don't know. But yeah, I was getting back to the flying and going through. And when I would go on trips, when I do go on trips, I am very comfortable walking into a bar I don't know, a place I don't know, and sitting down, having a drink by myself as a traveler and being there. Like, you know, this is cool. This is it. This is fine. So why is this so awkward at home? What was the situation there? So I started doing that. And that was my first push in my comfort bubble. I did pretty good. I don't know. I probably did 3 or 4 times, which is better than 0. And it is, once you get there, you don't feel that uncomfortable and you're in the situation. It's fine. It is the lead up to things for me, which bring the anxiety, which bring the fear. And for me, the lead up then is really just a mental game. It's talking myself out of it. Why I don't want to go do this, why I don't need to go do this, what this could feel like, what it has felt like in the past, and what it might feel like again. But as you notice, all those things are could, woulds, mights, and haves, but they're not what's happening now. And I find that to be the biggest thing. Like, what is actually happening now in your head? What is happening in the moment? Is it before you go there and you're thinking about all the things prior and all the things possible? Or do you have this anxiety fear when you're there in the moment and living it? Those are two different situations for me, myself. I don't feel that feeling anxiety when I'm there by myself in that situation. I'm living in the moment. I can then redirect that. I can see other things that make me feel happy. And I'm like, I achieved something. I'm growing. I'm doing something. It is that prior, that 10, 20, maybe 4 hours prior that leads me to that feeling of anxiety, pressure. So one way is to go and do those things like I did. Go to a bar. If you don't like being in social situations, find something. Obviously, right now with COVID, it's a different situation. Probably not the best thing to do. So one thing you can do, and this is what I have done and I started with, and has definitely allowed me to kind of find peace in my day at times. And that is the old cold water shower. As in your morning, after you wake up, hop in the shower. If you do shower, that's great. If you don't, you're then going to have to take time to go to do a shower. Some people shower at night. But it is going in there, and there are multiple ways to do this. I suggest you have a regular shower, hot water, soap, whatever you need to do. Go through a routine, spend a few minutes in there in the hot water, enjoy it in the morning. And you end your shower with an allotted amount of time of the cold water turned all the way cold. Absolutely freezing. Not halfway, not partial, all the way cold. And you set a time for yourself as I'm going to count down until that time's over. And then I'm going to turn it off, get out, dry, done. What this has done for myself, because that's all I can speak on. I don't have the scientific background on this. Wim Hof might have something more for you if you want to check out a bit more into this area. Is that cold water surge that comes from the hot as it lands on my head and the rest of my body brings that same feeling of anxiety that I feel when I'm out in public, when I'm doing something around. It is that shooting pain in my brain that is sending all these sensors out through my head, down into my chest, and down into my limbs, making them move around. It is that fear of sitting there with the cold. Why am I doing this? Why is this happening to me? Why have I chose to put myself in this situation? This is very cold, very uncomfortable, and it's not needed. It goes against my comfort zone. It goes against me living in 2022, where I don't have to feel this sort of struggle, where I don't have to do these things. But that is the exact reason why you do it, should do it, and why I do it. It puts me into that place of uncomfort and unknown and anxiety where I have the opportunity to change it. And by changing it is by pulling my hand up, pushing that tap, and stopping it. I literally am God in this situation, and I can induce my anxiety or I can take it away. And that is one of the greatest things that has happened to me since I started trying to better my mental health. Allowing myself to choose when I put myself in anxiety. Allowing myself to choose when I step out of it. Because it's when you're able to do these things on your own, you can set up a routine in your brain. It's like practice. It's like when you are an athlete or spelling bee or anything profession where you compete against people, you practice until you go compete. Your competition is when the anxiety comes out of nowhere and you're like, whoa, where'd that hit? Oh my God, I don't want to do anything. That is the competition. Your practice is the lead up, is every day in between there, how you address your day, what you do to combat it, to prepare for it, and to fight it in times when it comes out of nowhere and hits you. So I suggest you guys start with something like that. Cold water. It sucks, but at the same time, it becomes addictive. I have do it now, I don't know, 4 years in a row now, literally 4 years in a row. Every morning after my shower, I will, for at the moment 30 seconds, put my whole body, I'm 6'7", I'm super tall, I can't stand there, so I have to squat down, and essentially hits my head and rolls down my back. I'm kneeling because that's the life I live. But I squat down and then it rolls over me, and yeah, it blows immensely, but it feels damn good after. And the thing is, I know when I don't do it some days, when I go, I'm not going to do that today, I feel it mentally. Like I failed. I didn't win. I didn't give myself a winning chance to succeed today. Give it a try if you like it. There's ways to step up. There's ways that we'll talk about in the future about going for a full 10 minutes in the freezing cold water up to your neck. That's a whole another story. But try to find a way today or this week. Don't push it to next week. Don't push it the week after, because then you'll stop thinking about it. It'll stop being important to you. But find a way to put yourself in a place of anxiety that you can step into, but you can also step out of at any time you like, and see how it feels like, and see what you can do in your head at that time to kind of ward off the attack. See what you can do to divert some of that anxiety and energy and put it into a positive place. So you can practice until the day comes up where you're like, it's game time. Let's do this. I've been practicing. I'm ready to go. All right. I love y'all. Thanks again. This is the founder of Never Alone, Tall Paul. Be sure to check out my therapy hub. It's got some more stuff on that for you. I will talk to you tomorrow.